What's up, beautiful people, to another episode of Conversations with Christian Men. It's me, Ricky Jones Jr., and we also have
O'Neal Double in the building.
And we are here for another episode. Yes. So whether you're watching on YouTube, what's up to you? Click that subscribe button.
Yes.
Or you're listening on your favorite podcast platform. Hit that follow button, hit that share button, hit that follow. Do what you can do to either connect with us and share it with somebody else that they should listen to it as well. And so we're gonna be having fun today, okay?
That's actually good what you said. Don't be selfish. Share with someone, right? Let someone know. Don't be selfish and hold all this goodness, knowledge to yourself.
It's more people that need it too.
Sharing is caring.
Sharing is caring. So let's share what we're going to be talking about today, my brother.
Yes. Oh, today we're going to talk about just, we have, I like to call it life after death, right?
Yes, which I love that.
Not, heaven, focus, and so on, but life after your death to self, right? What is it looking like, your faith walk, my faith walk, and Ricky's faith walk, where we can share our testimony just, as well as thinking, at times when someone who's, maybe not saved and they're thinking about, potentially, I'm going to wash my hands and it's going to become new, or, everything is going to be a new world. I'm going to see things in a different lens and so on and so forth. But that's not always the case, right?
It's not.
So, we'll talk a little bit and just kind of break down our faith walk. Maybe you can share in the comments a little bit about your faith walk as well. And, just so we can continue iron sharpening the iron, right? So we can add on to, once again, just everyone as they watch this, they're understanding what it means to be a Christian.
Yeah.
And so that, knowing that we might stumble and fall a little bit, but hey, we can pick ourselves up or pick each other up, right? Dust each other off so that we can continue to be representatives of the kingdom and be the best person we can be, right?
Boom. Now, before we jump into that, you have a nice scent, right? And I'm sharing it publicly. Because I don't want you to think I was flirting with you privately. What is the scent that you're wearing, sir?
I'm not sure, but my wife, so Bath and Body Works, I want to say, whatever, they're not sponsored, but shout out to them, right?
Hello.
They have nice menly scents. It's not only for women.
Yeah.
So they have lotions and different stuff that are made for men. I'll be honest, I don't know the scent. I don't know whatever. I just wear whatever my wife, I'll say, hey, when you go to get me something too.
Yeah.
And she comes back. Yeah, she comes back. It's funny because she'll come back with a whole bunch of things, of lotion and body wash or whatever. And I got all of these for $100. I'm like, $100? That's a lot. I had this coupon and I had that coupon and I had this. I feel like they always got a sale.
Always.
There's always something,
Because remember, everything is always for sale.
This is true.
So you don't know the scent?
No, I don't know this scent. I'm going to have to find out, I guess, and I can share with you.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to use it. But shout out to just because you use it, right? We can't be smelling alike. Then it just goes to the next level.
It's going to be weird.
Why y'all smelling like that? It's not like we run in different circles. But shouts out to Jessica for picking it up. I guess why I wouldn't use it, because I've been using shea butter actually, which it's been working very well. Shea butter coming from Guyana, the country of Guyana.
Oh, it's not.
And it does very well on my skin. I put it on my face, on my hair, everything. You can put it everywhere. But I really did it because Rain has eczema, which, then we're getting to the content, but Rain has eczema. So I was trying to find different solutions to help her. And so, shea butter is one to say that'll help alleviate that. And so, as a father, you try to do things by example and all that good stuff.
That's
so
true.
that's what that is. But it doesn't really have a smell or smelling, right? Yeah. But you definitely do. So it's not like you can wear shea butter and cologne. Maybe you can. I don't even like cologne.
You don't?
I don't. I don't want to smell like anything.
Well, I'll say on occasion, I might wear cologne or whatever. If I'm going to work or if I'm going just to hang out someplace, I'm not gonna spread all over. But if I'm going someplace nice with my wife, or going, something that's like a dance or a date night or something, a little something.
You want to stunt on these folks.
Little something.
Pickety plow.
But I'm not over here drenching myself all over head to toe.
10 sprays.
It'd be too strong.
That was in high school. We did it at high school.
Man,
yeah.
Some people carry it over to adulthood too. You walk around you smell them and they're gone, but the scent is still there.
See, I said what I said to help y'all to know when you should have stopped that.
This is true. That's when it cuts off. But I'm saying, unfortunately, some
people still in the past.
Carries over.
Hello, which even to the point of life after death. You know what I'm saying? And one of the things I'm gonna share a line that I love hearing, but I'm waiting to the end to share that line. However, to get us there, life after death, like, man, I even love just the overall thought of what that means and what that could mean to those that are hearing and listening. But I know for myself, I lived a lot of life. Or I live a lot of worldly life, which at the time, you know, it was life to me. You know, smoking, drinking, hoeing, lying, stealing, cheating, cussing. We talked about some of all of those things, but that was what I felt like should be done. Why? Because that's what other people were doing. So I was simply living the way I was seeing life being lived outside of the home. Let me say that. Because my parents are definitely strong believers and they lived godly before me. And I truly believe not even around me, right? They were still living the same way. I didn't think it was like they did it because I was there. When I'm gone, boom. But I will say, my dad made a little shift, right? Once I became of age and I went to college. And like, he was very clean cut, still is, clean cut guy, always wear his shirts and his pants and like tucked in, all that good stuff. And then when I went to college, my man started wearing basketball shorts, cut off shirts, wearing his hat to the back. I'm like, who's this guy?
Who is this person?
Who is this?
Was there a reason why for the shift? Did you ever ask him though? Or was it just like, you just feeling like, all right, well, I've reached a point where I could be more relaxed? Or I think so.
I think that was it. He just said, this is what I like. That was his response. This is what I like. And I'm like, all right.
That's not what I'm used to seeing, though.
No, but, you know, it all said it to say, like, I lived life. But the funny thing about living life in the world, right, before death itself is, I always, because of the way my parents raised me, I always lived life in a way that I didn't show them the wrong, right? Even when I was like smoking, I was always the one that said, I can't smoke it when it get too close to the lips because I ain't trying to burn my lips, you know what I'm saying? I ain't trying to have my lips black because if I go home with black lips, you already know I've been smoking that ganja.
That was your logic, all right? Stop at a certain point.
If it burnt my finger, it was too close to the lips.
That's it. That's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
All right.
That's a roach that got to go. And so to say, man, that's what it was. So I was like hiding it and things like that. But I will say, full circle, when I did say, all right, I'm ready for Jesus, like I'm ready to live for God, I called my parents. I was like, hey, Dad, I'm about to get baptized. Like, I didn't get baptized till I was 20.
That's awesome. Well, before you get into, you know, the decision that you made to get baptized and to change your life and so on, and, you know, sometimes we as, you know, parents or people, we have short-term memories, right? I've mentioned before where we've forgotten our past, like the way that we were. Maybe you can share, you know, why did you feel like you needed to live life a certain way that was outside of what your parents maybe it kind of was the upbringing or what you were doing at home? Why did you feel like you needed to do those things?
Because at the time, that's what the homies was doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, the homies was out here talking about getting girls. Obviously, I wasn't there with them physically. So I said that they were just talking because, I mean, I didn't know. But I felt like, okay, they out here doing it, I need to do it too. Having multiple girlfriends, that was the thing. And also, the music that I was listening to had influence over the life that I was living. Like we talked about before, Nelly said, go get a grill. I got a grill. I got a 10-piece bottom set. He said, go wear Air Forces. Boom. I was wearing Air Forces. He said, it's getting hot in here, so take off all your clothes. It's getting hot. You need to take off the clothes. You know what I'm saying? Like, he said it. I did it. I will say, now that looking back on it, Nelly was very influential over my life. But it was music. It was friends. It was just hormones, right? Not knowing what was going on. But then I will say, I wasn't very vocal to my parents, who could be and were a great guide to me. I wasn't like sharing, hey, Dad, Mom, this is what I'm thinking. This is what I'm considering. This is what I want to do. I was just out here getting it, sharing my thoughts with friends my age.
Now, you know, did they try to approach you and kind of have conversations and ask you certain things, or was it just you never took it to them and they never asked? Like,
I never took it to them. They would ask here and there, but never like, oof, you know what I'm saying? But just like, hey, how's things going?
And then you're just, you know,
right.
All right, just kind of keeping it surface level, right? Not
Very
going
surface.
Deep and, you know, and so on.
You don't talk about them things. You know what I'm saying? But that was my approach with things. What about you? Like, is it hitting any things that reminded you of you, or
sure?
So walk a little different.
You know, so you know, you got to continue your second half too for you know your the transition, right? The death to self. So, well, we'll get back to you on that. But let me see. For me, though, As far as my faith walk, and early on, of course,
we know you were a thief.
I was. I some things that I did not share. I shared with Ricky off camera, of course, about other things that reckless. I was saying, yeah, definitely. Unfortunately, at times, the voice that we hear, or kids hear, or sometimes even adults too, where we end up being influenced by darkness, I'll say, right? Influenced by those who we might think have our best interests at heart or in mind, but that's not necessarily the case, because they're doing wrong and they're focusing on self versus our parents and so on, who, our loved ones who might be thinking beyond us in the now. They're thinking about our future. But as kids, we're not necessarily thinking about our future or whatever. We're just thinking about, what feels good at the moment,
Literally.
So, yeah, this is true. But so let me see, growing up for me, though, I did some things, like you said, I would but try to fit in, right? I'll say primarily for me, being someone who came from another country, I was trying my hardest to do what do American kids do. Well, the town that I grew up in, it was small, shout out to Naples, Florida.
All right.
Whoop, whoop. Anyway, so it was a small town, but there was nothing to do other than try to find a girl to holler at, we would say
have intercourse.
Yeah, have intercourse, or we would say splack. I didn't
know that one.
Yeah, that was it. We would say splack because there was a song Splackavelli back in the 90s. Anyway,
it stayed back there.
Yeah,
it stayed in Naples.
It stayed in Naples. Oh, you didn't?
I never heard that song.
You never heard Splackavelli?
By who?
I don't know. It was a one-hit wonder
in Naples.
Others
he
have
was
heard
raised in Naples. I was raised in Atlanta. So
anyway, so the things that they did was they got in fights and they hooked up with the girls.
Okay.
Well, I can't fight.
Respect. When you know, you know.
So I'm gonna have to do one or the other. So that's what I did. Like kind of.
Let me see your fighting stance. Let me see your stance. Okay. Like you had a question.
What about
you want to fight? Okay, so you couldn't fight. So
I couldn't fight. But you try to be cool. You try to fit in or whatever. I'm trying to think. Like I had mentioned before, I didn't date a lot, but I did a lot of extra things or whatever. Because meet someone. Like. It would be, I remember one summer, it was like we had every day was our plan to find someone to...
Different?
Yeah, it was
it's like 60 days in the month.
Bro,
in the summer.
We were on a mission for no reason. It was my junior year of high school.
Wow.
Yeah. I was a jerk that year.
Gotcha.
But anyway, but like you said, other things around kind of like, influence and so on. But then in the back of your mind, like, this isn't right?
Yes.
You're not living right, because God is speaking to you. Even when you're doing wrong, right?
That's true.
God is speaking to you,
That's true.
right? Because we're His children, so He's speaking to us to let us know, hey, like, what you're doing isn't of me, isn't representative of me, is not representative of your family, and so on. And then last thing I'll say, I'll pause, and then we'll kind of go, for the transition. One thing for me, though, I know that I had always wanted to bring, and not disrespect my family, right? But at the same time, I was doing things that was very disrespectful to my family. But I was in my mind thinking like, okay, as long as it doesn't get back to them, then I'm okay. Right? But that's not necessarily the case.
True.
Because God's with us at all times, and He sees what goes on, right? Maybe our parents might not know, but He knows, right?
He knows.
And
correct,
what you're doing isn't necessarily falling in line with the plans that God has for you in your life or whatever. But and of course, and to reach a point where I was like, all right, something's got to change, right? So I can't continue to, try to, I don't want to mess around and catch something.
Hello. No, that was definitely a fear.
You got to change things up a little bit so that you don't end up going down the path of total chaos, total corruption, total darkness or whatever, And then also, last thing I'll say, and then kind of go back to, and God will strategically put people in our lives, right? To help us to get to where we need to be.
Very true. That is very true. Now, one of the things that I love that you said amongst it all is that in your wrongdoing, God will talk to you because God is always with you.
Yeah.
And I liken that because, you know, we see TV, we've seen movies, and the media portrays what we know to be God speaking to us as like the good side and the bad side. Like the media has tried to dumb down our thoughts and our knowledge of the fact that God is with us, as his word says, he'll never leave us nor forsake us. And in that and with that, God is with us, speaking to us when we're doing wrong, which is so very true. And I will say with that, one of the scriptures I love that was like freeing to me is that the scripture talks about how God, you know, doesn't love evil and all that good stuff, but in the midst of that, he'll always give you a way of escape. I think Paul said it, which he said it better than what I did. And I like that because I'm thinking like, man, when I was out there doing wrong, there was always a moment that I could have left, but I stayed longer and I did what I shouldn't have been doing. But I stayed in there and did it, right? And then I'm in there praying like, God, please don't let nothing go wrong. Please don't let her get pregnant. Please don't let us get caught. Please don't let us go to jail, right? Like,
And as you know, kind of, I was thinking, you know, one of my favorite scriptures, you know, for I know the thoughts and plans that I have for you, thoughts of good and not evil, to give you, you know, latter end or expected end or whatever, you know. God is with us at all times, right? To where he already had the plans laid out for us that he wanted for our lives. And unfortunately, there are some people who, you know, will, like you said, you know, you're thinking like, oh, I hope this doesn't, something bad, like just staying for another minute or whatever it might be. Unfortunately, there are people who, they know they're not supposed to be at a place and they're doing something that's like, all right, I'm just going to stay 1 minute extra. And then that's when it all goes south or whatever, right? Whether arrested or someone get pregnant or something like that. You know, it's like, but we got to know when that shift needs to occur. So that we can, you know, kind of turn things around a little bit. So, which, you know, we'll kind of, go ahead.
But even with that, too, I even love the idea of you were trying to do things in a way that did not come back to your family, right? For your family name's sake. Which I love that on multiple parts. As a parent now, it's like, man, that is very true because, you know, we try to instill great beliefs, morals, and traditions and things like that into our kids. And so the thought that, you know, the things that we put into our kids will ultimately fruit and, you know, bear fruit. However, they're going to go through some things because that's what kids do. But then as a kid, and as I was the one doing that thing, the living, quote unquote, the life, it was like, man, I was always mindful, like, God forbid my dad find out what I was out there doing. God forbid my mom finds out, like, I didn't want that disappointment. I didn't want to have that conversation. You know what I'm saying? And especially like my dad, he was preaching, assistant pastor and all that. So I definitely couldn't let out. And to the point where I was like, man, I can't mess with nobody in the church because if they find out what I'm out here recklessly doing, like he would be defaced.
Now, question, we got this, you know, podcast and so on. So they're finding out things through here. But did you have conversations or anything like that with them beforehand?
Oh, absolutely.
Later on in life, right? Did you say, hey, let me tell you.
Some of the stuff.
Some of the stuff.
I
literally about to say, did you lay it all out? No, you held back a little bit.
In the book of, I'm going to say Revelations, right? If not John. One of the two. Because it was John's the author. But it was says that Jesus did so much more that it couldn't be contained within all the books. Within the world.
So same thing with you. Ricky did so much more that it could not be contained or shared with the world.
But I will say a lot of stuff like I've done... some stuff, but I can honestly say a lot of it I've tried to forget, and a lot of it I honestly have forgotten to the point for me, because I needed to like kill that man.
That's true.
To the point where even like Paul had been a crucifier of Christians, killing Christians, but then after meeting Christ, coming in contact with all that Jesus is, being, you know, born again in that respect, Paul would then say, I have wronged no man. Wait a minute. You have not only wronged men, you've killed men, you beat men. You've been in the midst of when men were stoned, right, Stephen? And it's like, wait, how you going to say you have wronged no man? But I believe that's because Paul had a shift. Paul had death to the old. But not only that, but Paul had a renewed mind. And I say that to say, like, man, I've done some things I can remember some of them, but a lot of them, like, God, like, I do not need this memory. Like, bro, I don't, you know, and no disrespect to the women or the people that were on the other end. It's just that I don't need that.
Yeah, that's true, and that's amazing how, because sometimes, same thing with me, I'll think like, did that really happen, or was it a dream?
Yeah, okay.
Or was it, you know, something that happened to someone else, or whatever it might be, and, you know, thank God for salvation where, you know, can renew your mind, right? And just be reminded that we're in this world, but we're not of this world, right? So it's
a light bulb.
Yeah, and it's good to, you know, to have that shift and whatever, which we'll get to in a moment, but I'll share, going back to, you know, whether or not you've shared things with your parents and, you know, and so on. I'll say, I haven't really shared things with my parents, you know, but
at all.
Not really, no, bro.
So praise God for the podcast.
Yeah.
Some things with you.
But the girls, though, my daughters, like, I'll say part of the reason why I haven't really shared a whole lot with my parents, because we're not really like open like that where we have conversations. Some families, like, they're close. They talk all the time. I talk to my mom all the time. But I think I mentioned to you, like, my dad, we'll talk, but then I'll literally get on the phone with him. 30 seconds in, he's hitting me with the then voice, you know? Like, all right, well,
we all know that voice.
Yeah, like recently I went down to Naples to go visit, you know, because the storm and such had happened, and I had to go down there for a doctor's appointment for my son in Fort Myers. And I said, hey, since I'm here, let me go and visit my family. And went and saw my mom, and she basically would have kept me there forever because she just wanted to talk about everything and show me everything. And then my dad, I almost didn't even see the man because, you know, it was
he at the house?
He, well, they're not together.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Okay. So he was at his own place where I called him, and, you know, he knew I was coming. Then he I'm not home. Like, all right, I'll just catch you next time. No, I'll wait for you. I haven't seen you in a couple of years, so I'll wait for you. Then finally he made his way home, whatever. And then he met me in the driveway, like, ready to, like, give me with the, all right, well, drive safely. I had to say, we gonna come in, you know, I'm gonna sit down for a little bit. So we're not really super duper, you know, we're like close because, you know, and then, like, when I look at them, I smile and stuff. I'm like, look at my parents, you know? Like, dang, you know, look at them and how far we've gotten. And we're a little bit closer now, but growing up, you know, we weren't super duper. But the girls and, like, my son and so on, we're super close and open. Like, they tell us everything. Not immediately while it's happening, but they tell us stuff later sometimes. Like, apparently in middle school, my daughters, they knew all the cuss words, and they were saying all the cuss words. I found out about this, like, last year, and I was like, oh, my. Are you still the same? Can I look at you the same? You're my babies? Like, why? You know?
Yes.
And kind of to your point of what you mentioned earlier, like, and they even said, we knew to not display that around you, so we didn't cuss around you. Like, there was no slip ups, bro, none whatsoever.
Correct. Likewise.
None, like none of that. You know, so I didn't think, but at the same time, you can't be like naive and assume your kids don't know things because they you know, the world where you know it's all around us or whatever. You know what I mean? So, but anyway, so let's focus on the shift, the mindset of the transition. So, when did you feel or, you know when God's voice speaking to you the louder to say, hey, and then you opened your ears and your heart and so on and finally made the shift? When did that occur for you?
Yeah, so this was in college. I was probably like 2021 and, or 20, probably like 2021. Yeah, but anyway, and all with it all, God was just, I just felt like I had enough, bro. Like, I was tired of hoeing, like, really, I really was, to the point where I was like, anyway, I'm like, well, I could. Like, I would only sleep in my bed probably like one night a week. Like, I would be staying at other females' homes, right? Like, I just got tired of that. I got tired. I wasn't even really lying. They knew what I was doing, but it was just like, you know what I'm saying? I got to remember this. I got to remember that. I got to remember. I don't want to do that anymore. And so I got tied up and fed up with it, and God was just sharing with me, like, there's more. There is more to life. And I knew for me, in order for me to, like, really do what is necessary, I have to leave. Like, I have to, like, move. And so I was like, okay, God, like, help me to find somewhere to go. And a neighbor across the hallway, whom I was with as well, she came over and showed me LSU. And I was like, I heard about the school by way of like football and TV. I never thought about going there, but I looked it up, and when I was looking it up, God was like, "This is your school." Transition there, had a fresh perspective. Nobody know me. I don't know nobody there, and I could be who I could be who I truly was blessed and born to be.
Yeah.
And I started going to church.
You did this on your own then?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Like, the shift had to occur. Now, I didn't transition there and was like pure. There were like 2 girls that I was intimate with, and it wasn't like at the same time. So that was cool. That was a shift and transition for me. But, you know, like you said, old habits die hard in some cases.
Yeah.
But I did strive to do better. I wanted to do better, and I was doing better. And so in it all, with it all, that's where I again was baptized. My dad came and helped me to help my pastor there to be baptized. I accepted my calling to teach and share the word of God. I preached there my first sermons and preached there beyond that. Yeah. And you know, life was great. Yeah. And I felt better. Like, I felt freer. I felt more like confident in who I am, because I had to look over my shoulder like, oh man, this, that, or the third. I wasn't smoking. I had stopped smoking when I went there, because God was like, you need to stop. And God told me I need to stop smoking, right? God told me that. I don't put that on anybody. But I will say I did once, right? And smoked one time with my roommate at the time. Had stayed up all night to study for a test. And was taking 5-hour energy. That's when they first came out. You know, everybody was popping up, 5-hour energy. I had popped 2 of them jokers because I needed to stay up overnight.
Yeah, 5 plus 5 equals 10.
10 hours, baby. And so, hey, that was a Friday. Saturday came, I couldn't go to sleep. My roommate, he was a smoker. And it was, you know how the interview does, bro.
Yeah.
He would ask me all the time. He probably smoked 3 times a week. Hey, man, you want to smoke? Nah, man, I gave that up, man. I don't want to smoke. Well, this time, he offered. I remember smoking leads to sleeping.
Yeah.
I'll take you up. Smoked with him, came back to the room. He left the room, went on about his business. I'm laying on the bed, dozing off. Yeah. I hear knocks. Bop, 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 bop. I'm like, man, this is a dream. I ain't think nothing of it. I hear it again. Bop, 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 bop. I'm like, man, somebody's at the door. But, you know, my roommate's not here. Ain't nobody coming for me. Nobody know me, so whatever. Bop, bop. Go to the door. I look through the peephole, bro. Look through the peephole. I see 5 big police officers on the other end.
Snap.
I'm like,
whoa.
I take a step back like, oh my God.
Oh,
long story short, they came in, searched the room for the weed. I'm like, hey, bro, it's not me. It's my roommates.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we've heard that before.
Yeah.
I'm like, whoa. No, I'm for real.
Yeah.
But what they see from me is like I had a bunch of polos. I had shoes still in the box. That's how I keep my shoes. I had a bunch of that. They're like, oh, how you get money for this and that?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay, I see what this is.
Oh, snap.
And, so long story short,
I've never heard this story.
Yeah, man.
That would definitely make someone get. Bro. No, not saying that's your story how you got saved, but
that was
something like that. You gonna tighten up,
bro. I stopped smoking after that.
Yeah,
God,
you sent 5 big policemen to get me to change, tighten up. Thank you, God.
I ain't smoked after that. I popped a couple edibles, but I never smoked after that.
But continue. Did you get arrested? Keep going.
No,
this is a really good
story,
bro.
They put me on probation. I was on 1 year probation with the school because it was school.
1 year probation.
1 year probation. Yep. And so the probation was if ever we caught you doing anything else, I would then it would be higher disciplinary factors to it, but obviously, I mean, that wasn't me. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I wasn't worried about that. Yeah. But I did have that, I guess, on my school record. It wasn't on my actual record.
Yeah.
But man, so that was that. But I say all that to say that was my shift, bro, and that's why I hold LSU so true and dear to my heart, because that's where life transition took place for me. Yeah. And so when I see LSU, I see change, right?
Oh, wow.
So that was like my change, and I started living for God ever since. Graduated from there, went to seminary school, met Crystal, graduated from there, moved down here to Tampa, started living for God, and so, that was my shift. But again, there's a line that people say that I'm going to wait to hear after you say what you say. Yeah.
Well, I mean, my story, like your story was really good. Like, wow. And that's awesome that you said something about, LSU, or at times certain things, we have those memories, right, that's tied to it, where it's near and dear to our hearts, like where someone might see something like, oh, it's just a school, like, it's just a college. But then you're focusing on thinking about your experience, the journey that God took you through, right, and how certain things represent whatever point in life, whatever you were feeling like going through, and how, again, God saw you through that thing or whatever that's, kind of will stick with you. That's amazing. I've never heard that story before. That's really good. I'll say for me, for like I mentioned a little bit earlier about how God will put people in our lives to help us to be who we're meant to be, who He's designed us to be, and, where we need to be in life. At a young age, my parents have always been in the church and so on. But like the way that the church is for them, it was adults stay in this space and do adult things, and kids, you go to Sunday school, but then you come back to the main service and you sit there and you're quiet. You say nothing. You are to be seen, not heard. So they didn't have any programs and stuff for kids. But, God was speaking to me because I want to say about the age of 8 or so, I heard God's voice, speaking to me loudly to say,
when I was 7.
Yeah, like, all right, I have plans for you and, and you are going to be a great man and so on. But then, life happens in between then or whatever. And I remember when I used to work at a grocery store that's no longer here. And there was someone, I was going to USF at the time, and there was someone who would always come I was a cashier at this grocery store. The grocery store was across the street from my now church, RTM. So someone would always come, Dr. V would always come to, I don't know if you know Dr. V. Yeah. She would always come, I know.
We've gone on mission trips.
This is true.
Bahamas, Africa.
Yeah, so Dr. V, she would come, and I used to have dreads, and she had dreads.
Yes.
At the time.
She's grown on again now.
Oh, is she? Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Dr. Renetta Mosley.
Yeah. But maybe I should I grow my dreads back?
I'm growing my hair out.
We gonna do it together?
Let's do it.
Let's do it, bro. All
right. Done. Y'all heard it here, baby. Sorry, Jessica.
But no, so she used to come almost like every Wednesday and maybe Sundays after service. She would come to the store to purchase whatever, and then she would invite me to church. And I would lie to her every week and say, yeah, I'm coming, but I ain't coming. So,
wow.
doop, doop. Like, hey, what's up? How you doing? So I used to call her. We recently talked about, my wife, Jessica, how I used to see her and I didn't want to call myself as stalking her. Yeah. But I used to call Dr. V my stalker. And I've told her this, so she knows.
Yes.
So I say, hey, remember when you used to stalk me when I was over at, Sweet Bay or Cash and Carry, the store, and you'd come through my line? But anyway, so she would come and invite me to church all the time. I'm like, oh, yeah, that church down the street, right? Oh, yeah. All right, I'm going to go. Yeah. I ain't going. Doop, doop, doop. Next week she comes like, hey, what's up? I didn't see you. Oh, man, you didn't see me? I got busy, this and that. Oh, come to church. Oh, yeah, it's down the road, right? When do y'all have service? Oh, Wednesdays? Okay, Wednesday and Friday. Okay, Sunday. Okay. Yeah, I'll be there. I ain't coming, Doop, doop, doop,
for that
doop,
paperwork.
Exactly. So she would invite me always, and I never went. Well, then when I met my wife, fast forward like 2-3 years later, and then she was like, hey, I heard about this church, like, maybe we should go. I'm like, whatever, Like, yeah, what's the church? Like, oh, then we went to the church and we started driving. I'm like, oh, we're kind of going towards where I work.
Yeah.
Where's this church? No. Then we turned and then we're like, oh, I think that's that church that, that one. Did I know her name at the time? I was like, that one girl with the dreads would come into my line and invite me. And then I saw her. I'm like, wow, So I would say God brought Dr. V, to like, to see, as far as mentioning the church, and brought Jessica in my life and like to help me show a different way for me to live life, right? Nice. And then that helped me to get baptized and then, really dedicate my life.
You were baptized there, really true?
Yeah, I was. Wow. Yeah, baptized RTM. Yeah, it's our St. Pete campus.
Yeah, on the beach.
Many moons ago. But yeah, I got baptized, changed my life, to really live for Christ. And I think I'd mentioned to you one episode, like I wasn't really a cusser because it sounds funny or coming out of my mouth.
Yeah.
I changed everything completely. Stopped cussing. Stopped, I didn't drink or smoke or anything like that. But like all the potential bad things that I would want to do after meeting Jessica and after, attending RTM and really getting connected with, some strong, men and, like women of God where, like seeing life, right? How to live as a Christian, that really helped me. And then, so, I know you wanted to share a point, but one of the things that maybe we can kind of share to encourage others, like sometimes, right, I'll say, maybe for you, like, when people think about Christianity at times, like they get scared and think like, oh man, like I got to change completely and, overnight, and I got to be, and going back to the whole, unfortunately sometimes songs and different things will throw us off, like, wash my hands brand new,
looked at my feet and they did too.
Like everything. So like, would you say for you, do you feel like everything is just, wow, like totally new? Or do you still have challenges and things that you kind of go through and, that you still are renewing your mind to think differently?
No, absolutely. No, there's that. It is a renewal of mind that you're able to get through salvation, believing in Jesus. However, there is the everyday life aspect of life that you have to grow to learn to know how to change and make the alternative decisions, because you're the same person externally. However, spiritually, you now have Holy Spirit living within you, right? So change comes from the inside out.
Yeah.
Therefore, with that being said, just even like a tree and roots, right? The roots have to do what they do in the ground, and then in time, we'll see the results of that due to the tree growing and the fruit being bearing, and then it makes its time of maturity, and then you're able to eat it or receive it. Same thing for you as a person. It takes time. So no, it's not an instant change.
Yeah.
It's over time, right? Even a little bit of everything, right? It comes with time. However, it will come, it will happen, change will occur when you do have the mindset that you're open for that change, when you're desiring that change. Because with God is a gentleman in the respect that he's not going to force anything on you that you don't want. Even in the midst of you doing wrong, right was an option, but God just didn't make right happen. He gave you the choice. He spoke to you saying this isn't right, or you shouldn't be doing this, or consider doing that, or hey, don't make that drive. However, the choice will still yours. Same thing for life with God. The choice will always be yours. So all that to say, it's a renewal each and every day, right? Like, you have to want to do better. You have to desire to do better and make those choices of what better looks like.
Yeah. No, that's really good. I mean, like you said, the exterior, life will still happen, right? And that's one of the beautiful things that I love about the fact that God has created us to make choices.
Right? I gotta say this. I was in Louisiana at LSU, and like, this was around the time I hadn't accepted my calling to preach or anything. I was just a member. And this was before I joined the church too, I believe. But nonetheless, in it all, I was like, you know how you think you could pray something off? And so I was praying. I was like, God, like, help me to not be so lustful and looking at women's butts, right? That was my prayer. That was my heart's desire at the time. And stop looking at butts, man. Like, just want to stop.
Go ahead, continue.
I know it's right, but I want to stop. Bro, I finished that prayer. Woman in front of me stood up.
Oh, snap.
Oh! I was locked in. So I'm saying the same, man.
But it wasn't your line of sight, though.
Wasn't in my line of sight? No, I looked down. She would be a tall woman. I don't know if that was a joke at me or you trying to help me out. But she would have been a tall woman for that to be my line of sight. I had to look down. But I'm saying that to say, what am I saying that to say? I'm saying that because, yes, you can pray for a thing for a change. However, it's not going to be instant. Right?
That's good.
It started with the desire. Desire was to not be so lustful and looking at the women and trying to see them, even with their clothes on, and try to see what they would look like without their clothes, right? I'm since past that. I'm good on that. A woman could walk past me that may look so thick in the front. You know how you can see some things from the front. I don't even have the desire to look back, right? It's freeing now, but it came with time. That was probably like 12 years ago. 12 years ago, right? I don't remember the year where I felt free from not having to look. Like, there was a time where I felt like I had to look. I couldn't let a woman go by without looking at her butt. Like, but the prayer was prayed then. Immediately Satan comes, as the word says. The word fell, and immediately Satan will come. But I had to share that.
It's funny because, not to totally sidetrack or whatever, because you brought that up. I know sometimes we do the rapid questions and where I'll ask you certain things. I had thought about if I should put, are you a breast man or a butt man on there? But I think you answered that question for us. We already know where you are with that. But
I would say, look at my wife, but I don't want you to. The Lord will give you the desires of your heart.
Bro, this is hilarious.
Sorry, she knows.
And the good thing that you just mentioned a moment ago, and as you were talking, and one of the things that I was thinking, right, where we might think something's going to happen instantaneously or whatever, just immediately. But think about like AA, Alcohol Anonymous, or whatever, or different things. They have steps, right? Like, they have steps, like the 12 steps of, or, even grief or certain things, there's steps, like, step one or stages in a sense, right? So even with something like that, when someone has like a hard addiction on alcohol or, smoking or, whatever.
I had one
all
on
of
porn.
the above, right? Yep. Like, there are steps to gradually, overcome that thing, right? Where no, it's not going to be overnight. Yep. Even, smoking nicotine patches, whatever. Sometimes some people just cold turkey because they're, hey, that's it. But other than that, like, it's a gradual process.
Correct. It's just not a snap. Which I would even say to people that can cold turkey, they probably, it's either life or death, right? And so I said it to say situations will occur that will make you have to do things instantly. There wasn't any outside pressure that was forcing me to make a change, therefore it could linger in time. So there's that thing. However, the line that I wanted to drop that is like the essential life after death line, right, is when I would share something with somebody, they'll look at me and say, man, I would have never thought you would do that, or I would have never thought you were that type of person. That's when you've reached a point that you truly have life after death.
I agree.
The new has truly come. The revised, the true you has then be able to be blossom, right? So it's not, you're not like you were. And so it's always cool when I hear that with people. It's like, man, I would have never thought.
Yeah, some things you say, I'm like, oh man, I would never have thought. But
no, that's because I'm now truly living life after death and truly living the true life, the real life, the life of light and the life not of darkness. So, the light, and I say it that way, right? Why do I say it that way? Because, I'm very serious about certain things, but life in the light, meaning I can live my life openly, in display, not camouflage, hidden, but I can truly be who I am, as opposed to life in darkness. I was living a life, but I was hiding that life. And that's what darkness is. Darkness is there to hide. Darkness is there to shade or mask a false reality of truth. And so,
Yeah, no, that's good. Good stuff. I mean,
that was a good talk, man.
That was really good. Yeah, so I mean, thank you so much for sharing your story with us. And of course, as we do with our conversations, to try to help folks out a little bit, right? To know, hey, when you change your life and truly decide to live for Christ, and it's not a thing where if you feel like, well, everything looks the same, I'm still going through the same stress or same situation, like this ain't working, whatever. No, everything takes time as far as, allowing God to work and for you to renew your mind, renewing the lifestyle too, right? The bad decisions that you used to make, how you used to get frustrated whenever certain things would display itself, or the feeling that you had, or the things that you wanted to do to immediately jump to do that bad thing. Seeing it from, a different perspective, or changing your mindset, or making the active decision to do right, and to live in a godly way. So
I love that. So if you haven't already done so, click that subscribe button. Also drop any conversation topics that you all would want us to discuss down below in the comment section, because again, we're here to share our Christian perspective on topics that matter. So with that being said,
no, that's it. I'm good. I mean, we look forward to seeing you on a future episode. Connect with us, all right? And again, don't be selfish. Share with others. Boom. All right, with that, see you on the next episode.
Peace.